Every time you open a new AI session, you start over. Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini. New tool, new explanation. The problem is that each tool only knows what you've told it, and none of them talk to each other. It has taken me 20 years of teaching and countless hours of testing AI to figure out that the biggest time drain in most AI workflows isn't the output, it's the setup. And there's a way to fix it once and never worry about it again. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how MemoryBase works, including a conversation I had with the team before I agreed to film that I think is worth sharing. I'd like to thank MemoryBase for sponsoring today's video. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how MemoryBase works and whether this tool belongs in your workflow. Different AI tools are better at different things. And that's a problem. There's a cost to working across multiple tools that rarely gets talked about. Every time you switch, you start from the beginning. It's a problem that compounds every day you're using more than one tool. A few weeks ago, MemoryBase reached out about a sponsorship. They're able to sync your AI conversation history across ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, and then make that context available when you open new sessions. The concept caught my attention immediately, but interesting isn't quite enough. When I recommend something on this channel, people use it, and that's something I take seriously. I immediately had one question around how the product handles user data. When I asked, the team told me it was already in the pipeline and expected to be live before we filmed. I told them I'd wait and test it myself before I said anything publicly. And I'll tell you exactly what I found at the end of this video, because it's relevant to whether this tool belongs in your workflow. But first, let me show you what it actually does. MemoryBase puts your entire conversation history in one place. So whichever tool you open up next, it already knows what you've been working on. Inside the dashboard, you get a timeline, a chronological view of your AI conversations across all connected tools. Each conversation has an auto-generated summary and a set of tags. The summaries are accurate, not just conversation titles, but a real description of what was actually discussed. If you had a conversation about reviewing a contract 3 weeks ago, the summary tells you that's what it was, even if you can't remember what you called it. When you open a new session in Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini, a button appears below that chat input. Memory is ready. Clicking it opens a panel showing your synced conversations. You select the ones you want to attach to the current session, and then you ask your question. The AI receives your message plus the context from those past conversations. You choose exactly what context goes into each session. You see it before it's attached. For privacy-conscious professionals, which most of you are, that's not a small thing. You decide what each AI knows about you and when. That's the core of it. And once you see it working, the installation is almost an afterthought. You'll find the link to install it in the description below. It's a Chrome extension, and once it's in, it starts syncing immediately across whichever tool you use: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or all three. I've also included a full transparency note about the extension's data permissions in the description. It's worth a read before you install. Here's where it starts to get useful. I opened a fresh Claude session. No prior conversations, no context, no setup. At this point, Claude has no idea what I'm working on. I opened the memory panel and attached one conversation. a ChatGPT session where I had been working through Claude's small business skills. Then I typed this with nothing else. Which skill should I use first? Claude came back with a specific answer, a ranked sequence, and the reasoning behind each one. It led with contract review. It told me that's the highest risk area at this stage of my business. Then it laid out exactly what to work through after that and why, in the order that made the most sense for where I actually am. I didn't tell Claude any of that in this session. It came from the ChatGPT conversation I attached. Claude read it, understood the context, and gave me a recommendation built around my actual situation. That's what one attached conversation does. Now let me show you what happens when I attach 3. This time I attached 3 past conversations, 1 from Gemini and 2 from ChatGPT, covering different topics from different weeks. I typed one question, nothing else. What do you know about my work? What came back was impressive. Claude laid out my university, my department, my teaching background, MBA, my YouTube channel, my audience, just about everything about me. All of it accurate, all of it pulled from 3 conversations, none of which were specifically about my background. Now, to be fair, Claude may have known some broader details about me from the beginning. My channel is public and some of my work is findable, but many specific details came from conversations that only specifically existed on ChatGPT and Gemini. MemoryBase carried them over. 1 week in, and you never reintroduce yourself again. Now, before I show you the next use case, if you found this video useful, please give it a like or comment. It really helps the channel. Also, if you'd like to see more content just like this, hit the subscribe button. There's a third use case that I think gets underestimated, and it's the one I reach for most day to day. A few months ago, I had a detailed ChatGPT discussion about a video structure that I had been studying. A creator named Ed Lawrence uses a 6-part format, and I had spent real time in that session working out how to adapt it for my own channel. And then, like most things that happen in AI conversations, it was buried. I knew it existed somewhere, but I had no idea which session it was in. I went to the MemoryBase dashboard page and typed Ed Lawrence into the search bar. It didn't return a conversation titled Ed Lawrence because that's not what I called it. What it returned was a cluster of YouTube content conversations. I clicked YouTube script preferences. The auto-generated summary panel appeared on the right, and the first line read this: the user is finalizing a reusable YouTube script template that emphasizes a very short intro, a 6-part structure inspired by Ed Lawrence. MemoryBase found it. Every useful AI conversation you've ever had is effectively gone. You close the tab, it disappeared into a list, and finding it again means scrolling back through weeks of sessions trying to remember what you called it. MemoryBase makes your past AI thinking searchable. That is not a small thing. Most of the best work you've done with AI is sitting on a list you'll never scroll back far enough to find. MemoryBase changes that. Here's my honest read on where MemoryBase is right now. It does 3 things very well. It carries your professional context across ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, so you don't have to restart from 0 every session. It makes your AI conversation history searchable by content, not just by date or title. And it builds what it calls context packs, auto-generated summaries of a project's related conversations. Furthermore, it reads only the AI platforms it's connected to, not other websites. Now, about that one thing I checked with the team before filming, during my due diligence, I had one specific question for the MemoryBase team. How does MemoryBase handle sensitive data like access codes? They didn't hesitate. The solution was already in the product, so I ran a test myself. I synced it and checked the MemoryBase dashboard. None of that information appeared anywhere. Not in the conversation view, not in the auto-generated summary, not in the searchable content. It was stripped before storage. If you work with sensitive information and you're considering a tool that connects your AI conversations, that's exactly the right question to ask. The answer here satisfied me enough to put my name on this. Your risk tolerance may differ, but for the way I work, this one earns its place. Try MemoryBase for free. The link is in the description. The free plan covers Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini with 6 months of conversation history. And if you want to see how to put that context to work, automating tasks inside Claude once it knows who you are, that's exactly what this video covers next. Click on this video now to see how.